big mistakes that everyone makes when they're doing the clean. That first mistake that a lot of people make is they will push the bar forward, or they'll start with the bar far away and then pull it in. Jake's going to demonstrate this, pushing the bar forward off the floor. Yep, perfect. Now, to fix this, and even if they start with the bar too far away, the easy fix is to make sure you cue the athlete on pulling the bar into their knee right off the floor. So ideally, the cue should be pull the bar into your knee, push the knees back off the floor. And that will keep it from rolling forward. Another problem that people have is when they hit their knee with the bar. If you're hitting the knees with the bar, typically you're pulling too quickly off of the floor. So that quick fix is to have a slow pull or to use the cue of pushing those knees back, and that will help you avoid hitting the knees. So Jake's going to demonstrate a slow, clean pull so that he doesn't hit his knees. Good. Notice it enabled him with that slow, controlled position to clear his knees out of the way so that the barbell did not contact his knees. That next key mistake that a lot of athletes make is they will bend their arms too early, meaning they're not keeping a lengthened arm into contact, but instead they're bending their arm to get contact. Typically, this is happening when someone lacks pushing their knee under the bar. When they're not pushing their knee under the bar, what that does then is they force the bar back into the hip by bending at the arm. So the cue that we want to see is push the knees forward, flat-footed, or tight lats, push the knees forward from a flat-footed position. So Jake's going to demonstrate how to push his knees forward when the bar passes his knee and to keep that upper back and arms nice and long. Good. One more. Give me one more. Good. A lot of athletes struggle with making contact. This is typically because the bar is too far forward and they might even be rounding their upper back. So we need to work through how to keep their back tight. And then we want to use slow pulls or even use a cue of having the feeling of that tight upper back and actually making contact. Typically, I would use the cue of think about it as making a brush, okay? Brushing your quads. Now, if someone's really struggling to make contact, I might cue them to bang the bar for a little bit and then revert back to just brushing. But we want to see a nice brush off the quads, and that's going to help make contact. So Jake's going to demonstrate what it looks like when you don't make contact off the thighs. Notice the bar stayed really far forward. And now what he's going to do is a slower pull into the hip and then finish strong. Good. So we want to see that hip extension. We want to see an actual connection with the glutes coming through, making connection with the bar on the thighs. Another consistent problem is when athletes bump bars forward, okay? So they'll make contact, but their head gets way behind the bar here, and the bar goes forward after they make contact. So one of the cues that I like to use is to hold no feet as long as possible. So actually feel a no feet pull. Okay, that's gonna help keep that connection to the barbell, and try to think, make contact, shrug. Make contact, shrug. If we're making contact and the bar's bumping forward, we're probably missing that final pull with the upper body. So Jake's gonna demonstrate how to properly keep that bar as tight as possible. Just execute like a slow no feet with a really tight finish. Good. One more. Notice how well he's shrugging. So we want to focus on make contact, shrug the upper body. Perfect there, right like that. Consistent problems that American football players always have is they like to catch in a starfish position. So Jake's going to demonstrate that quickly. There we go. Okay, so this is okay every once in a while if you're dealing with athletes that don't weightlift all the time or that are going for a max. Very, very rarely will I allow this to happen. If this happens, what I like to use are cues around no feet finishes, okay? So if we have a no feet finish, that prevents us from moving our feet really wide. And if we do a no feet full, we get comfortable in getting down in that bottom position. Typically, people are widening their feet to lower their center of mass. So if we get comfortable with lowering our center of mass efficiently, that's going to improve our ability to execute the movement. So Jake's going to do a no feet power clean and then a no feet full clean. Good, one more from the floor or in the hole. Perfect. Another consistent movement pattern that we see with American football players is we will see athletes who catch with elbows low and their hips forward. So they're arching and they put a lot of stress on their lower back. Typically, we need to address mobility in the upper body and sequencing in the hips. If we can get them to extend and then flex, that's going to improve their catch position. So we want to focus on contact, extension, flexion. Hip extension, hip flexion. And that movement of the hips is going to improve your overall performance in athletics. So we need to make sure that we're doing that with the full lift. Jake's going to demonstrate a poorly executed catch, and then we're going to go into a properly executed catch. Okay, good. And then now he's going to fix that with a power clean where his butt goes back behind his heels on the catch. Perfect, good. Another large error that we see with athletes is they will catch a clean and they have to take a step forward. Typically, we have to look at the sequence, okay? Oftentimes, that's happening because of what occurred prior to the actual catch. So the pull is forward, the bar stays forward past the knee, they might not be making contact. So when we see someone catch and their upper back's rounded, typically we'll first cue tighter back on the catch. That might fix it. If that doesn't work, then we want to go make better contact, keep the bar tighter and that tight upper back, and that should alleviate it. But first, Jake will show us what that looks like to take a step forward. Yep, and stand up, and even do one from a power. Good. So what we want to see now for Jake to fix that, he wants to make contact. He's going to keep the bar very tight. He's going to shrug really tight and a tighter upper back. Good. Again, that easy cue, keep the bar over the shoelaces, keep that bar tighter, catch with an upright position.